Welcome to Student Connections, where students connect with their community.
Hello and welcome to Student Connections here on M6, your hometown station. I'm your host, Kara Biskarner, and here with me today is Mr. Kane, Superintendent of the Marysville Public Schools. Mr. Kane?
Good to see you today.
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
How was the start of the school year?
We've had a fantastic start to the school year. Hard to believe we're already creeping up on Halloween time, the end of October. Really great start. All of our employees worked very hard to have the schools and the grounds ready for the start of the school year, and we think 2 months in, we've had a really good start.
So have we seen any growth in the population for the school district?
We have. Our total enrollment in the district right now, our preliminary numbers show that we are up 28 students from last year at this time, which is a good thing for our school district. And in a day and age where our lawmakers in Lansing have pretty much given up on the concept of public education and are looking at education going in different directions, funding is scarce. And when our enrollment can increase, that has a direct benefit not only to our students but to our staff and our ability to continue to provide a world-class education for our community and for our students.
So have there been any new staff members this year?
We've added some new staff members. Part of that increase in enrollment did cause us to add a 5th grade teacher at Gardens Elementary School. We have quite a few folks that have been hired new to the district based out of retirements and things of that nature. And we have a new middle school principal this year. Mrs. Lisa Shagney is our new middle school principal. She's replaced Mr. John Sazin, who retired from the district after nearly 40 years of service. So some good changes in the district, new faces, lots of positive energy.
Very nice. The Board of Education has recently set their goals for this year. Let's talk about them.
Absolutely.
So how do you plan to increase student literary achievement K through 12?
Well, I think the board took a look this year at the input from our school teams and from our administrative leadership team and said, you know, do we want to continue to focus on just literacy K-12, or do we want to make that a larger, broader goal that would encompass mathematics, science, and social studies? So their actual goal ended up looking at all those areas. But ultimately to do that, we're looking more closely at individual student data. We're looking at how kids are achieving. We're looking at areas that they might be struggling with or thriving in, and then honing our instruction in to meet those individual needs of students.
Definitely.
And, through those different strategies and approaches, through our teachers working collaboratively together with leadership teams in their buildings, we're confident we can continue to help students increase their literacy proficiency.
So how do you plan to prioritize your finances to maximize our student achievement?
Prioritizing finances is always a challenge, but is critical and at the heart of what we do at the district level and as a Board of Education. We have to simply make sure that we're using our scarce dollars in ways that are always benefiting students, giving students new opportunities to learn, new ways to learn, new pathways for learning, but at the same time making sure we're able to pay the bills. We have to pay the heating and cooling bills and the energy bills. We have to certainly make sure we're compensating our employees fairly. So we have all those things to balance, but at the heart of all of our financial decision making is keeping the focus on students and how we can make sure that your learning continues to be the best opportunities available.
How do you plan to utilize a wide variety of technologies to enhance student learning inside and outside of the classroom?
This year we've had many teachers take on the exciting opportunity to blend their classroom, meaning they're providing opportunities for students to learn inside Marysville Public Schools and then have an outside virtual component to their learning. And we are really working hard with our teachers to make that more of the norm in our classrooms around the district, and that teachers will give students an opportunity to learn in the virtual world and in the classroom world, with teachers leading that charge. We really believe our teachers need to be the key to that digital transformation, that digital conversion away from just standard textbook learning in the classroom. And we really think that outside the school environment, learning is critical to prepare our students for the world they're going into. When you go to the university or trade school, into the career market, the world's very heavily reliant on technology and on devices. And we need to make sure our students have good exposure and experiences with that type of a learning environment.
Definitely. How do you plan to reach every learner through high-performing teams using the professional learning communities process?
Yeah, you know, really what that comes down to is our professional learning communities across the district are all about focusing on the needs of students. It's getting people together to talk about the legitimate, real needs of students and how do we solve those problems. And so at each of our buildings, we have those high-performing teams. And the goal indicates high-performing for a reason. We want to make sure that we're doing all we can to continue to build and gain ground with our professional learning community process. It's something our district has embraced and done well for pretty much a decade now, but we still have to continue to be committed to that process and growing that process. And it's really all about collaborating on student need.
So how often do you visit the schools to see the goals in action?
I try to get out into all of our buildings at least once a week. I'd love to be out every day. In my job, that's one of the things, unfortunately, I really don't get the chance to do, but I do try to get out to every building once a week and go out and make contact with students, go out and see how our teachers are doing, and just make sure I'm involved and know what's going on day to day in our buildings.
So what do you see like as the main difference between elementary school kids and high school kids?
I think in elementary school, especially in the early grades, we're still teaching kids how to read, how to write. We're teaching them those basic foundational skills that are going to help them be successful as they get older. High school students are already, you know, you guys read and write to learn. You're not learning to read and write, you're reading and writing to learn. And so there's a difference there, and you're able to think at higher levels. You're able to tackle some, you know, heavier subject matter, some deeper things. And again, it's just that continuum of K-12. So high school students are getting ready to enter that next phase. And so our preparation shifts at the high school into more getting you ready for the next level that you're going to go into. Whereas elementary kids, the next level is middle school. So there is certainly a shift there. From teaching kids the basic skills they need to be successful as they move to secondary school, to teaching high school kids skills they need to go out into the real world, such as problem solving, collaboration, cooperation, critical thinking, how to work with others is an important skill. So a lot of those things our teachers build into your learning opportunities.
Yeah, I know like in elementary school it was more about like getting you ready to go to the middle school, like you said, and like your maturity level, of course. And like with high school, they're focusing a lot on like college, and you can go like college visits, talk to your counselors, and I think that's really nice in that.
Absolutely. We certainly want to continue to make sure that our students at an earlier age, starting probably in early middle school, really get more exposure to what potential careers are out there, what pathways they might be able to take. We don't want every student to necessarily go to university for the sake of going to university. Although we really value the university experience, we know that in today's society, having some type of an education or skill beyond high school is critical. But you know, some kids will go to university, graduate with a degree in philosophy, and not be able to find a job. And so we want to really make sure that our students all have good opportunities to explore career pathways, college pathways. They're going to help them focus on something that will allow them to leave that experience and walk into a job and have a successful life and career.
Well, that sounds great, and we'll be back with more after this.
Each year, over 3.2 million students are victims of bullying, including 1 in 7 students, grades kindergarten through 12th grade, are either a bully or the person being victimized. In addition, 56% of students have personally witnessed some type of bullying at school. We all know someone who has been a bully, affected by bullying, or the people who are witnesses. If you are the bully, stop it. If you are the victim, tell someone, anyone. Just get help and stay strong. If you are the witness, take some action. We all need to take part to make a stand to eliminate bullying. With everyone's help, together we can.
Hello and welcome back to Student Connections. We were just talking to Mr. Kane about the school district and their goals this year. So how do you feel about the new Chromebooks in the high school?
I think the Chromebooks are a great tool for students to have learning opportunities and learn in ways that they haven't been able to learn before. Also, it gives our teachers an opportunity to teach in ways that they might not have been
Yeah.
able to teach before. So we're seeing that great combination of student learning being enhanced, instruction being enhanced, and those things go hand in hand. When we made the decision for Chromebooks, it wasn't that we felt there was one device that would be the perfect device. There is no such thing. So we talked with our teachers. We asked them what they wanted to accomplish with personal technology.
Yeah.
Got that feedback on how it would impact student achievement, student learning. We surveyed students, we surveyed parents. We took all that into consideration. Mr. Farnsworth, our high school principal, then made a recommendation to us on the device that he felt would be most appropriate for high school use, and we supported it. And we hope that the students are enjoying having the World Wide Web at their fingertips. And we think that's the main thing, is the power of having the internet at your fingertips all day long, the ability to learn in ways you haven't been able to learn before. We think the Chromebook opens that door for students that in high school last year, students didn't have that opportunity.
I know, like, with me starting to use the Chromebooks personally, I like it because a lot of my classes now, I take the tests on Moodle, and I think that that's really nice, and I've seen, like, a jump in my test scores, so I think that that's awesome.
Probably get immediate feedback. Right?
Yeah,
you
that's
get that
what-
instant
that's what I
feedback
like.
from teachers. You know where you stand with concepts and on your learning. And it allows you to focus on what you might need to study
Exactly.
more on. It allows teachers to focus on what they might need to reteach or touch up on to help make sure that all students are really understanding the subject matter.
Especially, like, that anxiety of, like, seeing what you got on the test and being able to see it right after you take it. It's nice.
Immediately. That's good feedback.
Yeah. So the middle school had iPads. What made us decide on Chromebooks instead of iPads?
It's a good question, and I think, again, we go back to the unique needs of the learner. Just as we talked a few minutes ago about the differences between elementary students and high school students, we look at the differences between middle school students and high school students. And, you know, with what we need our high school students to accomplish from an academic standpoint, again, our teachers felt overwhelmingly that a Chromebook, more like a laptop with a physical keyboard, would be the best fit there. But we look at what middle school students need, and if you remember being a middle school student, a big part of that is high interest. A big part of that is being able to do things that the iPad allows that the Chromebook doesn't. Certainly if you put the two devices side by side, there's pros and cons to each device. But when we did the same process for our middle school students, we really felt at that point the iPad was the device for middle school. It was going to make learning more relevant and meaningful for them. It was going to allow our teachers to build relationships with them more. Again, part of those instant feedback pieces, the communication opportunities, and just some of the apps and different programs that are available for the iPad, we felt would really fit well for a middle school population.
I know for me the biggest thing is that there's a keyboard on the Chromebook and there's not a keyboard with the iPad.
Sure.
And I think that that's so nice, especially for, like, in classes when I'm taking notes, that's nice.
Sure. You know, we have had some middle school students, they've purchased the keyboard. You can get the Bluetooth keyboard. So there are opportunities to add to the iPad, to add that keyboard if needed or wanted. But so far we feel, you know, a year and 2 months into the iPad initiative at the middle school, we've really seen some good results. And again, that high interest piece, you know, that to learn, if students are motivated, obviously we're going to see better results if they're motivated to learn in the way that the material is being presented. And again, it's empowering our teachers to teach in ways that they've never taught before.
Yeah, definitely. So why did the school decide to incorporate more technology into learning?
It's simply put, it's a prerequisite for student success after they leave high school. The world that we live in is heavily based in technology, and being able to use technology for every purpose in your world. You know, when I went to school, and not to age myself, but my school environment and my home environment were pretty much the same. The technologies that were available to me inside and outside the classroom were pretty much identical. And obviously what we've seen with the explosion of technology over the last 5 to 6 years is we got to a point where the school environment and the home environment for our students were two very different things. In fact, we were asking kids to shut down or unplug from what was their normalcy at home to come into the schoolhouse. So we've had to really make sure that the technology is available to students and that you're learning those skills and learning to communicate and learn with technology devices, because that is the world you're going into.
Yeah. So Washington Elementary recently had a tech open house for parents. What was presented there?
The Tech Open House was an opportunity to help our 5th grade parents understand the importance of using personal technology, understand the importance of this blended learning or flexible learning concept we talked about a few minutes ago, where kids may be doing more of their work in a computer-based fashion. And so it was an information night. It was an opportunity for parents to see how school's changing and how technology and this digital conversion is really front and center, and how we're revamping how we deliver education.
So let's talk a little bit about the state funding. So how is the state funding leveled off this year?
Yeah, state funding, 3 years ago, we were cut $470 per pupil, which was a significant financial hit for us. And slowly there's been a little bit of money added back to our funding levels, but it's still absurd in that we are being funded at a level that is similar to 2006.
Wow.
And if you think about, having money in hand and costs continue to go up, we've had no additional money to keep up with our costs. So then it forces school districts to look at what do they take away. And that's that constant balancing act. But it's frustrating. We're hoping that will turn around, that will change. But right now the leadership in Lansing, again, I just feel unfortunately hasn't prioritized public education. And that's disappointing, because public education is a great equalizer for all of our students in the great state of Michigan, and it's obviously the way that our future is being educated. So if we don't fund K-12 education, which is such a paramount, critical part of our future, we're shortchanging the future of our citizens in this state. And our lawmakers really need to understand that, but at this point they're not open to that conversation. But we continue to try to stress that importance. We may see some shakeups with the upcoming election, and maybe that will benefit our educational system, and we're hopeful for that.
Yep. So the Wednesday school day now starts a little later. Why is that?
The Wednesday school day, the later time is, the state made a change that is required that all of our professional development time to be counted as official time, and we are required to provide a certain level of professional development every year. It's part of the state requirements for public schools. The minimum amount of time we can have to count is 1 hour in length. So if you remember, our core or late start time used to be about 40 to 45 minutes in length. We had to extend that. So to extend that, we had to find a fair time to start that, and a fair time for teachers to come in, and a fair time for our kids to come in. So because we had to lengthen that to 1 hour, that's why you're seeing a later start time this year for students.
I'm not complaining. I love the later start time. There was a big tech conference here at Marysville High School in August. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was the 21st Century Learning Symposium. It's a St. Clair County RESA event. They always ask if they can use our facilities, and of course we love to showcase our high school. We're so thankful to the community of Marysville and our citizens that allowed us to provide this great 21st century learning environment for our students. And so that event brought in keynote speakers from around the world.
Wow.
It brought in over 700 educators, not only from the county, but from the state.
Yeah.
And it's becoming an annual event that more and more people are coming to. Again, as we talk about the importance of technology transforming the learning experience, more and more teachers and administrators are seeing this 21st Century Learning Symposium as a great opportunity to learn new tricks, strategies, ideas to enhance student learning. And there's just powerful sessions that take place there. We'd had some of our own teachers and own leaders presenting to educators from around the state that day. So we're proud of them and thankful for their contributions.
Definitely. So online school or class options are now offered. How does Marysville compete with other cyber schools?
Yeah, right now there are numerous cyber schools out there that are promising quality education.
Yeah.
Anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade. And if you think about this, how does a student learn to read with an online virtual course without the guarantee of a certified teacher, a quality teacher, someone who's there to give feedback and provide solid instruction and support? So we are living in a day and age where there are a lot of for-profit cyber schools that are more than willing to take money and take money that comes in that would normally go to the public school. They can get that money now. The thing about it that we need to be very careful about and safeguard against is, are those schools, those for-profits, giving kids a quality educational program that's going to prepare them for life after high school? Sadly, many of them are just about making money. They're not worried about the academic
Yeah.
integrity, the quality of the programming. So what we're doing in Marysville Public Schools is we're saying, let's develop our own courses. Let's make sure that we have the rigor, the relevance, and the relationship piece behind these virtual courses. So if you take a virtual course in Marysville schools, you're still going to have the support and access to a Marysville
Yeah.
Public Schools teacher. You know that the curriculum is going to be solid. You know that if you take it in a virtual format, you're going to get the same level of excellence as if you took it just in a normal traditional classroom setting. So we feel very strongly that we need to control those virtual courses. We need to develop them ourselves and have our teachers, who are the experts, being the ones who deliver that content.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest classes that you can take at Marysville High School now is Mrs. McLaughlin teaches a 12th grade blended learning class.
Yes.
And I think that that's so cool, like the aspect of that. And she told me that it really does get you ready for college. So I thought that that was really cool.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because again, that's a key point. Is this is the way that higher education is going, is, completely virtual or partly virtual or blended, as we call it. And so we have to make sure that our high school students, our middle school students, even our elementary kids, starting at an early age, are getting exposed to this shift in how we learn, so that they're very comfortable and confident, and then they can have success as they leave our school.
That sounds great. And we'll be back with more after this.
Depression. When this word comes to mind, rooms go quiet and heads lower.
This topic can make close friends and family blame themselves and feel as if they are the reason.
The problems, the hurt, and the pain that depression causes is like a piece of glass in the palm of one's hand.
And these problems can only hurt you if you hold on to them.
Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes
But sometimes
it is letting go.
Furman House.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
Hello and welcome back to Student Connections. We were just talking to Mr. Kane, Superintendent of Marysville Public Schools, about the technology. Now let's talk a little bit about the fall activities this year.
Absolutely.
So how do you plan to make this school year better than the last?
Making this school year better than the last is, again, focusing in on our board goals, focusing in on our building plans and goals, and just constantly looking for ways that we can deliver a better product to our students and to our families. One of the big things that we talked about as an administrative leadership team this year is, let's focus on things that are within our control.
Yeah.
We can't control the funding. We can't control the movement of legislation that allows these cyber schools to exist and take away public school dollars, but we can control how we treat our customers.
Definitely.
That's within our control. So one of the things that we've done this year is intentionally focused on making sure we're doing more to make sure our students and our parents feel well connected to the school, feel that they're supported, feel like they're valued, that we care about them, and that's something we're going to continue to focus on this year. And we hope that our students and our families will see those little fine touches that really can help us continue to set ourselves apart. We believe we have one of the best school districts in the state of Michigan, and we want to continue to enhance that. We can't get comfortable where we are. We have to continue to find ways to improve. So just fine-tuning some of those little things this year is a goal that we've had, and I think it's exciting. I've heard some stories at the building level of how we've done that and how kids have felt good about it, our parents have felt good about it. Certainly we know that there are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be times when things don't go right for our students or right for our families, but how we work to fix those problems and find solutions is critically important for us. So that's one of the things that, as we think about how do we make the year better, that's one of those little things. Of course, we've talked about the tech initiatives and all of those things that we feel are going to enhance this school year. But when it really comes down to it, those relationships with our community, those relationships with our students and our parents, just making those stronger is a priority for us.
And I think that is something that sets Marysville apart from a lot of other school districts, is that you guys are really here to help the students and help the parents, and I think that that's just awesome.
Yeah, we're so fortunate. I'm so fortunate as superintendent of schools. The employees of our district are truly here for our customers.
That's
and,
awesome.
And that just allows my job to be that much easier, and I can have the confidence and peace of mind knowing that we're all in this together. We're all working as a team. There's over 300 employees in this district, but we are all here for our customers. We're all here to make a difference in a positive way, and I think that speaks for itself, and that shows.
So how did homecoming go this year for you?
Homecoming was fun. You know,
Yeah.
we were constantly worried about the rain coming
Definitely.
down, and we had those little bits of sprinkles here and there. But overall, I think we had a beautiful evening.
Yeah.
And proud of our team. They played well. Proud of our school. We had a lot of spirit, and just I think it's great anytime that our student body can come together and support each other. And then of course the homecoming parade, where our community
Yeah.
comes out in force and just loves the opportunity to celebrate with us as a school district.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing when the community can be a part of what we do at the schools, and that
Definitely.
makes homecoming a pretty special time.
I love doing the parade because it's like I can see the little kids from the elementary schools and they look up to us, and I think that is really cool to have that parade there to do that.
Absolutely, and I think sometimes high school students don't understand the impact they have on those younger
Yeah.
kids, that they do look up to you, and you help them look forward to something. By what you achieve in high school really gives them something to look forward to, and you're setting that bar for them, and you're setting
Yeah.
that example for them. And I don't know if the high school student thinks about that often, but you
Yeah.
really are leaders for them and role models in a lot of
Definitely.
ways. So it's a good thing.
Yep. So what are you looking forward to most this year?
You know, I think what I'm looking forward to most is just kind of seeing all of our planning go into action. You spend a lot of time. People sometimes ask, what goes on over the summer? You
Yeah.
know, and not all of us are off in the summer, and we spend a lot of time and energy planning for the next school year. So for me, it's
Yeah.
always rewarding to see that planning come into action and play, and see what goes well.
Yeah.
Certainly, sometimes things don't go well, but then we adjust and we come back at it. And so just seeing all that planning and hard work of people come into action and be successful for our kids
Yeah.
is always something I look forward to.
Definitely. So do you think you could join us later this year so we can keep up with how the school district is doing?
That'd be great. Love to come and talk with
That'd be
you
awesome.
another time, and
Yeah.
certainly keep the conversation going about our great district.
Definitely. So thank you for joining
All right,
us
thank
today.
you.
Yeah. And we'll be back with more after this.
What? More moldy pickets? Are you serious? Alright. No, just tell them we'll give them a credit. No, just let them know we'll do it. You might have to call them back though.
Okay, girls, have a good day.
How you doing?
Good. I've been a little bit stressed lately.
Really? How about the kids? How they doing?
Oh, they're doing great. They're back in school, so I don't mind.
That's good.
How's your work? You've been traveling a lot?
Yeah, quite a bit. It's going all right though. I miss my wife and kids a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it.
Oh, that's okay. It's been about a year since Todd has passed, and it just gets a little tight with finances, and Sammy's due for a surgery next month, and I just don't know how we're going to pay for it.
Well, if I can help out with the kids at all, just let me know.
Okay, thanks, Will. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.